Hey everyone, welcome back to Santi. Today we'll discuss Bitcoin's price action. You might know that for the last couple of months, Bitcoin's chart doesn't look bullish. In fact, it looks very bearish because Bitcoin continues to put lower highs and lower lows. And sometimes it experiences a quick recovery rallies. However, it finds resistance and then the story continues. And currently it trades close to 55K. And very surprisingly, a few days ago, when the unemployment rate came in at 4.2%, which was the consensus of the market, Bitcoin sold off for another 6%. So unemployment rate was 4.3% for the last month. It came into 4.2%, a decrease in unemployment rate. And that was the consensus, and Bitcoin sold off heavily. That's something that surprised me. And it seems that Bitcoin rebounds from the recent lows and currently is in a recovery mode. However, we can note that Bitcoin seems to be in a downward sloping channel, which doesn't mean that it's bearish for the medium and long term. Because let's say if we go to a weekly chart and we view the big picture, this is something very bullish. It could be a bull flag. So Bitcoin goes up for 300% or more than 300. It's 350, I guess. Yeah, almost 400. So Bitcoin goes up substantially. Then we have a consolidation phase, bullish consolidation phase. And if Bitcoin doesn't drop to the downside of this trend line, there is a high chance that after all, Bitcoin is going to push higher and will break the resistance zone, which is currently at close to 68K. And after that, Bitcoin might set new all-time highs. So if you view the big picture and if you view Bitcoin's price action for the medium and long term, it doesn't seem bearish per se. Yeah, it's not ideal. However, it's more bullish or at least neutral than bearish. But that's for the long term, or at least for the medium term. For the short term, however, Bitcoin doesn't look good because it's still in this downward sloping price channel. And Bitcoin had its lowest daily close a few days ago on 6th of September. So how can we deny the fact that Bitcoin doesn't look good in the short time frame? When it comes to long time frames, it's easy to imagine that Bitcoin will eventually push higher and break the resistance zone to the upside, and it will set the stage for new all-time highs and then 100K, let's say. Because eventually we'll have lower rates, QE will start most probably, and we already see that the level of liquidity, global liquidity, is on the rise. However, for the shorter time frame, Bitcoin doesn't look very strong. Even though Bitcoin doesn't look strong in the short time frame, we should note that a lot of people turned bearish on Bitcoin. A few months ago, when Bitcoin traded close to 53, 54K, when the German government sold its Bitcoins in the open market, people were bullish. They said that now it's gone, another bearish factor is gone. Market rebounded very quickly, and we had a recovery rally which took Bitcoin to the resistance zone of 69K. Then after that, Bitcoin started to tumble. And then, of course, the infamous yen carry trade unwinded and Bitcoin went as low as 49K. However, it closed the day at 54K. And again, the recovery rally was very quick. And Bitcoin recovered to 65K in a matter of days. So people were bullish after that as well. However, a lot of people who were bullish on Bitcoin over the last couple of months, even when Bitcoin traded at 53 and 49K, now turned to bearish outlooks. I don't know the reason. However, I suspect that the reason could be recessionary fears or maybe the September effect. Because equities and Bitcoin as well do not do well in September's. And maybe people believe that Bitcoin will continue to bleed for the rest of September. That's a possible answer to that. Or maybe people start to realize that the market didn't price in a recession. The market priced in a soft landing. And now they start to fear that a recession is coming. So they just sell their risk assets. They cut their exposure, maybe. I don't know. However, there is one thing that is clear. Whenever a lot of people become bearish on Bitcoin at the same time, the chances that Bitcoin will surprise to the upside is increased. And that's for the short term, of course. People were bullish when Bitcoin was at 53K. People were more bullish when Bitcoin was at 49K. People are less bullish now. Of course, we still have a lot of people that encourage to buy the dip. However, I believe that currently the sentiment is lower than it was when the German government was selling Bitcoin and when Bitcoin was at 49K on 5th of August. People are more scared now. A lot of bulls turn to neutral or bearish outlooks. It's a mini capitulation per se. And we should keep in mind that usually when that happens, when most of the market participants are bearish in the short term, Bitcoin can surprise to the upside. And this relates to the September effect as well. Now that September has started and equities crushed and Bitcoin crushed as well when the unemployment data came in at 4.2%, now everyone expects that the September effect will continue and Bitcoin will continue to bleed. And then maybe we'll see a recovery rally in October. So when everyone believes in that, chances are high that the opposite will happen. A lot of people will open shorts and they will get liquidated, and a short squeeze will push prices even higher. This doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot go lower. This doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot break this channel to the downside. However, the chances that we will see an increase in price or a surprise increase is higher when everyone is bearish on Bitcoin in the short term. And another thing that happens over and over again is that most of the people who want to sell, they will sell close to the support zone. They will not sell close to the resistance zone. And the reason is that the sentiment is the lowest when Bitcoin is close to this range. So even if you believe that the outlook for Bitcoin is not bullish for the next couple of maybe weeks or months, and you want to sell your Bitcoin or altcoins perhaps, maybe it's wise to wait a little bit because usually Bitcoin gets at least a short recovery rally. As you can see, over this price channel, Bitcoin rebounded every time when it touched the support zone. Yes, sometimes the recovery rallies do not go to the upper limit of the channel, to the resistance zone. Like here, the recovery rally discontinued at 64K. However, the thing that I wanted to communicate is that usually it's better to wait a little bit. Yes, there is a risk that it will not rebound and there will be like no recovery rally. and it will just break the channel to the downside. The risk is there. However, on average, it's more likely than there will be some kind of recovery rally. So usually it's better to wait a little bit and then sell because prices do not go down in a linear fashion and they don't go up in linear fashion. And speaking of the recovery rally, which is not guaranteed, we can look at some key levels in order to understand where the recovery rally would take Bitcoin's price. If it happens, of course. So here we see that currently the bull market support band for Bitcoin sits close to 61K. Why is this important? Because usually Bitcoin finds support and resistance at the bull market support band, which comprises the 20-week EMA and 21-week SMA. Another important thing is that the last recovery rally that Bitcoin had found resistance at the bull market support band. A lot of people, including me, anticipated that Bitcoin will go and find the resistance close to 68K, as it did multiple times. As you can see, this trend line acted as the resistance zone for all of the recovery rallies. This time, however, Bitcoin found resistance at the bull market support band. So right now, if the recovery rally continues, this is the first key zone to look at, 61K. And this zone is a key zone for another reason as well. You may remember that in the first half of the year, Bitcoin traded in the range of 61 to 70K for multiple months. And here you can see that Bitcoin found multiple supports in 61K zone. And we also had a resistance here. So that's why 61K is going to be a crucial zone and it's the first target for this potential recovery rally. That's the zone that you might think to sell some of your altcoins if you want to increase your dry powder. Or let's say you believe that there is going to be a recession. You want to cut your exposure. You want to sell some of your allocations. Perhaps I wouldn't recommend to sell your Bitcoin, but maybe you want to sell some other cryptos. That's the zone that you would look at. So let's wait and see whether the recovery rally continues or not, as well as let's see how the rest of the month unfolds. And this is an FOMC month. And the Federal Reserve is expected to cut 25 basis points. The market predicts that the chances of 25 basis points cut is at 71%. However, there is a 29% that the Federal Reserve will cut 50 basis points. So let's wait and see how the markets react on the first rate cut. As always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. Have a good day and I'll see you next time.